Hey guys, this is Marshall Kirby from Orchard Hill Farm Equipment. Behind me today, we got three different utility frame tractors with cabs. These are all in the like 60 to 75 horse range size utility tractors with loaders, cabs, and we're gonna go through some of the differences between these three behind me and just kind of show you that they're all similar tractors to do similar tasks. Maybe some of the features differ a little bit here and there, but overall are all great tractors to buy. In front of me right here, we got the Kioti RX6620 power shuttle with a KL7320 loader. This is an RX series Kioti. They also make this in an RX7320, which will also be 73 horse versus the 66 we got today. It's got industrial tires. This is the only one out here today with the industrial R4 tires, but you do have the option when purchasing to get agricultural tires, as the two others in back of me have as well. This is also the only tractor that we're looking at today that already has a self-leveling loader, and you can only order it with a self-leveling loader from the factory. The other two, it's optional to add a self-leveling loader kit to those loaders. So this is the first one. Behind me right here, this is a John Deere 5075E. Today, since the other twos are 65 horse, we'll call this a 5065E, but it truly is the 75 horse version. The 65 horse version is very, very similar, almost identical to this one. So 5075E with a 520M loader on it. It's got a Euro attach, quick attach system in the front. Of course, your ag tires and cab with heat and AC. Over there, we have a Mahindra 6065 power shuttle. This is a newer tractor to Mahindra's lineup in the last 2 years here. And great tractor, agricultural tires. This one has the 6075 CL loader on it, skid steer, quick attach. And we're gonna go through some of the differences and features-wise that you'll get straight out of the factory and optional equipment you can add to any of these tractors. Main thing is their PTO horsepowers are all going to be, you know, if we're looking at the 65 horse setups, these are all going to be under 60 horsepower, with all ranging from 53 to like 58 horsepower on all three of these. Quick attach systems, right? On the front here, they all have some type of quick attach to release your bucket, go into pallet forks. On the Kioti, you have an 82-inch bucket on the front there. Skid steer quick attach only. That's the only way you can order that tractor. This John Deere in back here has a little bit different system. So this is your skid steer quick attach, pretty much going to lift up on both these to go and release to go into pallet forks. Over here, this John Deere has a Euro attach system, which basically means you're going to pull this system pin right here, which is spring loaded, pull out and then basically back away, and you can detach the bucket, go into some pallet forks. Now, looking at this system, this isn't a system that you have to get on this tractor. John Deere currently options it for this system, skid steer quick attach, or a John Deere true quick attach. So this came on the 520M loader, and then on this Mahindra here, 6065, we have a skid steer quick attach system. One thing you'll notice is all three of them have a bucket level indicator, which is this rod up by the right-hand top corner of that loader. On all three of these, standard from the factory from the looks of it. Third function kits for bale grabbers, grapple buckets, plows, all that stuff is currently available on all three of these. Like I said, self-leveling kits standard on this Kioti loader from the factory. This John Deere and the 6075 Mahindra, it is an option to add those self-leveling kits in. External hubs on the front axles. We'll talk about front axles for a minute. The 6075 and the 6065 Mahindra here have external hubs. Same goes for this John Deere 5075E and 5065E is external hubs on the front axles. And the front axle on this is an internal style front axle system. So a little bit different front axles between these three, even though they are a similar horsepower rating. What else? We'll go under the engine compartments. We'll open up all three hoods real quick and see if we can give a quick little overview of those. So you'll have a grill guard standard on, from the looks of it, all three of these here. One piece hood design, folds up. Donaldson air filter, interstate battery, got some hydraulic coolers and screened in setup over there. AC components, you'll have some different fuses and horns and stuff like that. Over on this side, we have all your maintenance items. So engine oil filter, engine oil fill, fuel filter with a self primer, dipstick, hydraulic pump, secondary fuel filter, front axle fill here. All these are Tier 4 system tractors, so Tier 4 design engines. Just keep that in mind if you're looking at this, you know, currently. All three of these are current models to compare to each other. So it was an awesome opportunity, so I had to take it to have all three here and compare side by side. All three are Tier 4 system designed. The John Deere and the Kioti here both offer a DPF filter, a diesel particulate filter, and that basically is a canister that collects the soot from the diesel engine, and after a certain amount of time will get collected enough soot in there and it's going to burn itself out. You can watch some more videos online about it and learn more about these systems. It's been pretty damn reliable, but the one thing that will be different between these three is the Mahindra will have a different design. They will not have a DPF filter. So they are the only tractor out here that we're looking at today without the DPF filter. All right, we're just going to close this up and we'll go over to the John Deere now. All right, so the John Deere hood, from my remembrance here, was a one-piece hood design. So you have a little pull tab right here. Then it looks like it just goes right up here. All right, the air filter in the front, your AC components, screened in stuff here. Antifreeze overflow. DPF filter in the back there. It's a very large DPF on this unit here. Over on this side, you'll have some of your components. So looks like a fuel filter right there, and a few different other things, turbo and exhaust system. We'll look at the other side real quick, see what we got on the other side. Engine oil fill right on similar spot to the Kioti. Dipstick for your engine oil right on the side there. Hydraulic pump, alternator, a few different things right there. So again, nothing crazy to get at. Looks right on your side. Looks like there is a hydraulic filter right here. Yeah, we'll check out the, let me close this hood now. We're gonna check out the Mahindra, see how that design is. All right, so Mahindra is a similar system here. You have a pull pin. Once you pull that pin, this whole assembly is gonna come right up. Air filter in the front here. This one is actually intercooled. I don't believe all the others are intercooled, so that's something different. Turbocharged and intercooled on these. Engine displacement, we won't get a whole lot deep into the engine details, but I will go over the engine displacements and what the engines they're running in each of them are. So this is a Mahindra MCRD engine, which is a 3-cylinder turbocharged. That 5075E, and again, remembering that we're going to be talking about the 5065E, even though they're the same tractor, that is a John Deere engine turbocharged. If I remember right, it is also a 3-cylinder. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And the Kioti is a 3-cylinder turbocharged as well. The displacements among all these, the Kioti would be at the lowest end. It'll have around 150 cubic inches. Mahindra at around 163, 162, 161, something like that. And the John Deere, I want to say, was in the 170 something range. So at the highest out of all three of them. But maintenance items on this Mahindra, you'll notice there is no DPF under the engine compartments. That would mean no stopping, no regeneration system on this tractor. It pretty much will burn as it goes. Looks like a fuel filter right here, some of your throttle components. Not a whole lot more to really touch too much on this side. On the other side, we should have more filters though. We'll go over there and check that out. Yeah, so we got same spot. You'll notice it's funny. These companies do a lot of similar stuff. Your engine oil fill right there. Your dipstick right here looks like an engine oil filter or hydraulic filter. One of the two right here looks to be hydraulic. Yeah, so components are all on the side, tucked away. A lot of different screens to clean out your intercooler and radiators and stuff like that, you know, that you can slide in and out. So that's pretty much that. They put a little toolbox on the side of this tractor, down by the ground along your loader frame. Steering is tucked in back on this unit. So those are two features that we'll look at on the other tractors, and at the same time we'll look at the loader frame thickness. So I'll say that this loader frame's probably the thickest out of all of them when it actually comes down and connects to the physical frame of the tractor. But let me close this hood up here and so front axle steering, we're going to look here, is in back of the front axle, and similar, very similar to the Mahindra design. And this right here is the frame of the John Deere that we were looking at on the Mahindra. So pretty similar designed overall. We'll look at that Kioti over there. And I did forget to mention here that the Kioti engine, we didn't go over that. The engine underneath this is also a 3-cylinder turbocharged, which I mentioned, but it is a didn motor, which is a South Korean motor. It is their own tractor and own motor. So Kioti uses their own motor inside this, much like Mahindra and John Deere do. So pretty comparable there as well. Frame of the loader right here, still pretty beefy, especially along the top. It's similar in that aspect. And the front axle steering, as it is a different style front axle, is in front. Still pretty reliable, tucked away, good design. Haven't had too many issues at all with any of these systems. But that's that. I would also call all three of these a quick park loader, meaning that there's kickstands underslung here, kickstands underslung here, and kickstands that you can pull out and put underslung on the Mahindra. So all three of them are quick park. You can take them on and off with all 4 quick disconnects color coded. So easy to release all 3 of these loaders. I mentioned there's a toolbox on that one. There's a toolbox on this one. The Kioti, I don't see that standard in the front here. So yeah, no toolbox from the looks of it on the Kioti in the front anyways. Fueling these tractors up, every single one of them is underslung underneath the cab. So the same design on that. There's no real difference on fueling them up. Your loader hydraulics are on the, if you're sitting inside the cab on the Mahindra, on the left side over there to disconnect those couplers. On the John Deere and the Kioti, they're on the right side. Not a big difference, but a little thing right there. Grease fittings. Grease fittings are inner tubed, and that meaning that your grease fittings are not external right here. They're actually plumbed in through the whole grease pin itself. On this and the John Deere, the Mahindra, they're external. So you'll see those grease fittings there. Same as the John Deere. You'll see them all around. So that's the system on that. And then we'll look at the Mahindra over here. A little different, but common scenario. External on a lot of the pistons, but then you get down by the ground where they're really going to end up being a problem, and you'll notice that, hey, those down there are actually inner tubed, so that's nice. Little another feature, we'll look at the steps on these tractors for the cabs. Dual step to get in on the normal left side of the tractor, and then on the right side, let's see if the Mahindra actually has a dual step on this side. So you can get in and out on both sides of the tractor quite nicely, no matter what you're doing. Door has a handle on both sides. We're also going to pay attention to that. And Mirrors, standard on one on each side, front cab lights and rear cab lights. We're gonna go over those few features next on these three tractors. So dual steps, doors open on both sides, mirrors on both sides and lights on the front and rear standard. And all these I believe will have a front wiper standard. Now let's go over to the John Deere and the Kioti. So we come over here. This is an optional option to add the door unlock on the opposite side. So no coming in and out of this cab on this side unless you opt for that door handle. It's probably a cheap option, but funny how I noticed it doesn't even have it on this just by going over some of the small features. Of course, with no door handle, you'll have no steps to get down either, but that's pretty much that. You'll have front cab lights. Let me check the rear. Do have rear cab lights, and it's got blinkers and stuff on the top, front, and rear. That's pretty much that on this side. Let's check out the other side. I'm sure you got a handle and to get in on this side. So double steps on this side, and of course your handle to get in and out of the cab. And no side mirrors you're going to notice on this cab, which is kind of odd. Another little add-on option. Front wiper standard, rear looks like an optional option. Over here on the RX6620, single step, door does open. You have two side mirrors, two front lights, blinkers, rear blinkers and rear cab lights as well. Front wiper, no rear wiper. But the rear window on this one is a defrosted window. None of these two other ones have the defrosted window. So that's kind of a little feature that I noticed between the two, or between the three tractors here. So that's pretty much that. Let's open up each of these cabs. We'll sit in each and every single one of them and see what we think of the features. We'll try and get the camera as close as we can when I'm sitting up in here. So inside the cab here, we'll talk about the transmission differences. We'll look over this transmission and a few of the other features inside this cab, and then we'll go to the others. So inside this cab, first off, you have a cloth seat from the factory, which has an adjustable hydraulic system and a forward and reverse and height adjustment. A 4-speed shifter, a low, medium, and high shifter, and a power shuttle forward and reverse. What that gives you is a 12x12 transmission, power shuttle. It is an option to get mechanical shuttle. The main difference on this one versus the others is the power shuttle works. There's a clutch out button on the 4-speed here to shift on the fly without clutching, whereas most of the other ones are only a power shuttle on the forward and reverse. So that's a nice feature Kioti holds right now currently. Push button 4-wheel drive. It's got 540 and 540E standard from the factory, not an optional option. So for you haying guys and stuff that want to run a tedder or something that doesn't take a ton of power, you can run it in 540E, of course, or some light mowing and stuff. Loader joystick on the fender here, close by, tilt steering wheel, splittable brakes, internal cab radio already pre-wired in. It's an option to add the radio, but you already do have speakers pre-wired in. 8 total vents in the cab, light and also sun visor, heat and AC controls. This has an option for incline and decline on the clutch system, so how fast or slow that hydraulic clutch or power shuttle, shall I say, engages and disengages. So there's an option to adjust that on this. Single rear remote, we're going to talk about that after when we get to the rear end. But one rear remote standard, the option to add up to 3. This tractor has a draft control feature on the 3-point hitch, lifting and lowering. That's nice for the farming implements. Farmer guys might appreciate that. Auto and manual PTO. The cab doors open up right here to grab in some nice cold air. Your seat also has the adjustment to tilt backwards. I can't really get my hand in there because of the plastic right now, but it looks to me like the seat does tilt backwards. Actually, there we go. So you can adjust that seat. Kind of a nice little setup there. 12-volt outlet, couple cup holders inside here, but that's pretty much all the norm. So touched on everything in this cab. Let's go over to the John Deere and then the Mahindra. hopping inside this John Deere here. Similar setup. All these tractors are going to be similar. So power shuttle's in the same spot, so this would be your forward and reverse. Your shifters, instead of being located on your left side, are on your right side, right by your loader joystick here. So you have a low, medium, and high, basically, an ABC and a neutral. And then you'll have a 1 through 4 with a parking brake system in it. So that gives you 4 times 3 forward and reverse. So that's a 12 by 12 transmission. Foot throttle, splittable brakes, definitely has tilt steering wheel here as a standard feature. That's nice. Loader joystick on your fender, but a little further away, but still pretty comfortable. Dual armrests on the seat. We didn't talk about them on the Kioti, but you do have one on the Kioti. It's your right side for your loader joystick. The other side looks to be not there. Maybe it is an option, but that is that. 3-point hitch. It looks to me like you have no draft control. Actually, no, you do have draft control. So draft control standard on this, it looks to be your rear remote lever is right here. This is for your single rear remote. Looks like it's an option to add a second. I don't know about a third, but first single rear remote is definitely standard back there, as we do have that. PTO, we do have a PTO system back here. This is a 540 and 540E switch out lever, kind of like the Kioti had over there. So you do get 540E on this. Don't quote me if it comes standard from the factory, but that is a feature that is on this one currently. So it is an optional equipment to add radio, heat and AC, little visor. It looks to be like a cab mirror standard, kind of a nice cool little feature. I'm sure the Kioti has it as an option. There's a bracket. Rear window, you can open up just like the Kioti. I like that feature a lot. It's nice to grab the air from outside. But yeah, that's pretty much inside the John Deere. We'll take a look at that 6065 Mahindra now. I feel like the Mahindra's got the most visibility for some reason. It just sits up a little higher. Some people can appreciate that, but the other two aren't uncomfortable or anything. It's just a different design. I feel that you also get a little bit more features inside this Mahindra cab. Believe it or not, you got quite a few different things going on. So something they got is a low, medium, and high, just like the John Deere and the Kioti had. But you have a 5-speed instead of a 4. And a forward and reverse right here is in the same spot, power shuttle. So this system is a little different. You basically got a 15 forward, 15 reverse transmission, parking brake, cup holders, optional for a buddy seat. That's a cool little feature that some of the other ones don't have. Tilt steering wheel, splittable brakes, foot throttle, loader joystick, I'd like to say is on your fender, pretty close system, draft control, PTO. This one we have 2 rear remote levers, which that means that this tractor has 2 rear remotes standard from the factory. Option for a radio, heat and AC, sun visor comes down, you know, like similar stuff going on here. The main thing is on this seat, on this Mahindra seat here, we do have an air ride seat that we'll see is really a nice system. That basically raises this seat as I press it, and then, you know, that'll take all the compression. The other 2 seats are a hydraulic cushioning cylinder that you can adjust, but definitely not an electronic air ride. So that's a nice system. I like that. Dual armrests on the Mahindra. The John Deere had it. The Kioti had 1 armrest. These armrests are height adjustable. That's kind of a cool little feature that these have on it. The side windows on the Mahindra, unfortunately, do not open. So that's a difference. You do get an internal cab mirror, though, from the factory. So that's pretty much it. Also, we didn't do this, but all rear window doors do open. They're all on basically a piston, so they all open up. Looks like the Mahindra's got 2 cup holders, some outlets to charge phones, and cigarette outlets, 12-volt outlets, lighting, and all that's over here. So that's pretty much that here. And I don't know if I mentioned, it does have 540E from the factory on this tractor. So that's kind of a nice little feature. Let's talk about the rear ends of these tractors and go over that. See some similarities and differences. So we're just going to quickly go over each of these and go from one to the other. Drawbar is standard, it's just not hooked up right now. It's a full-size farming drawbar. Dual rear remotes, like I mentioned, standard from the factory. So out of all three of these tractors, this is the only one that comes standard with 2 sets of hydraulic remotes. So they're nice for the haying guys that need multiple remotes. Other thing is the end links on these 3-point arms. There's category 2 pin holes, and if you turn these balls around, we got category 1 as well. What that means is it's going to open up your attachment options to running category 1 or category 2 attachments. Just a nice little feature. Telescopic end links, I believe all 3 of these tractors are going to have this, but we'll check it out. Side links are a pull pin, and you can adjust the width on these arms really quickly. We also have a system to adjust the height on these arms with just, spin rods basically. Really, honestly, a nice system. I love that about it, and it's on both. So we'll take a look at that real quick, check that out. What else we got back here? Just overall, obviously your PTO and a shield that does fold out of the way. Right now it's super tight, so it doesn't really want to fold, but it looks like the shield does fold out of the way. Really rugged rear end. Out of all 3 of these tractors, the Mahindra will weigh the most. The Kioti is going to be the lightest, but they're all really close. So I don't look at it as the Mahindra being 3,000 pounds heavier. They're all within 1,000 pounds of each other. The John Deere's within probably around 500-600 pounds of this guy, and then the Kioti's right in the area of the John Deere a little less. Actually, something I want to point out before we go right to this rear end is the batteries. The batteries are underslung like the fuel tanks are if you're sitting in it on the right side underneath the fender on both these guys external. The Kioti's actually under the hood, the battery is, so just a different location. Thought of that real quick to point that out. Single rear remote valve. This is what comes standard. Adding a second is an option. It is a pricey option. I've gotten quoted $1,200 to $1,500 to add a rear remote second set to this tractor. So it is an option to add. Something we just have here is just some extra lines ran from the loader valve back in case we're not using the loader. But adding a second remote would be a little pricier. Looks to be telescopic on the end links, so these do extend in and out. It looks like you just got to pull the pin and extend them in and out. We also do not have category 1 and 2. We just have category 2 pinholes. From the looks of it, they're category 2. So you can't add multiple different size attachments unless you get some bushings, which is okay, not that bad. Smaller drawbar on this. This is just your standard straight drawbar. That looks to be like the one that came with this. Not sure if there's an option for a heavier one. Adjustment on this side seems to be a pain. You got to unhook it and spin it around. This side though is similar to that Mahindra system where you can spin that and adjust the height. Side pieces are telescopic. Of course, your PTO back there. Pretty rugged, heavy-duty rear end. Nice system on the back here. But let's take a look at the Kioti real quick. Check that one out. Back here we got telescopic end links. So you'd push down and pull these in and out. Only category 2. Full-size, more farming style drawbar, like a tow drawbar, to hook in a hay wagon or something. That does come standard from the factory on this. Single rear remotes, standard. There's an option for up to 3. The Mahindra and the Kioti do have the option for up to 3. The John Deere looks only like inside the cab there's a spot for 1 and 2 rear remotes. So that's something you want to check into if you need 3 rear remotes, as the John Deere looks to the eye like it cannot accept, but I'm sure you could get crafty and figure something out. Adjusting the height on this 3-point hitch system here is this spin rod. Basically, this is going to spin up and down in a 360-degree system and raise and lower this. On this side, it's similar to the second side on the John Deere with a mechanical adjustment. PTO underneath here. The thing about this one is, I didn't really point this out, but external lift pistons on the 3-point hitch here. Easy to access, easy to service if there's anything that goes wrong. Grease fittings on them and everything, kind of cool. I don't believe the others have that. We'll check real quick in a minute. 3-point lift up and down. This is something that's really, really key. So this lever right here is a nice feature Kioti offers that the others look to be like not as standard option. Maybe they're optional, but not standard. this lever will lift and lower these 3-point hitch arms when you're not on the tractor. So hooking up an attachment can be flawless, very easy, make your life a lot easier, hooking them up and taking them on and off. Yeah, other than that, that's kind of like a full walkthrough on all 3 of these. If you got ag tires on these, you'll have centers on every single one of these that you can flip around and change the stance on for different row cropping and stuff like that. But today we have industrials on this just to show this tractor around. Plastic or poly fenders. Looks to be a plastic poly fender. Plastic hood, or like a poly hood. Looks like part of the John Deere's plastic, part of it's metal. If I'm doing this right, it seems like metal on the top and plastic on the side. On the Mahindra here, it's got like a really, really thick, some type of metal all the way around. So I just wanted to go over these, do a overview of them, not necessarily bash one brand over the other. Give some history on all 3 of these companies real quick. We're a Kioti dealer brand new and a Mahindra dealer brand new. We've been in the dealership setting for many, many years, multiple decades. My dad started this business in 1987. Been selling Kiotis in the US since 1987, so they've been around for a while. Previous to that, they were overseas in South Korea. So Kiotis, or Didn, the manufacturer of this tractor, has been around in the industry for nearly 70-something years. So great tractor, and Didn builds tractors for Bobcat, for McCormick. They've done it for Mahindra. They built engines for Mahindra. I mean, a lot of companies out there have used Didn products. Very, very good company to deal with. The main thing is they manufacture everything on this tractor front to back, so getting parts is seamless, like very easy, as long as you're dealing with a dealer that knows what they're doing. Easy to deal with this company. So that's pretty much the history on Kioti. There's plenty of dealers in the US. They make tractors up to around 110, 115 horsepower right now. The John Deere, of course, everybody's going to know the John Deere name, the green paint. We have never been a John Deere dealer. However, we deal with a ton of used equipment coming in. Especially this one has given us a great opportunity to do this video side by side with all 3 of these. Good tractor, nothing to complain about on this. John Deere is established in the agricultural market, so I want to set something straight with everybody that the John Deere subcompacts and compacts are a lot of Yanmar products and not necessarily a true John Deere. You get up to the 5 Series John Deeres, and that's when you're starting to see a true John Deere roots come out with a John Deere engine, not a Yanmar, and a John Deere chassis and frame. So the 5E Series John Deeres right here, and India is where the main system of this whole tractor is pretty much produced. So frame, axles, stuff like that. This is an India manufactured 5E Series John Deere. This Kioti is South Korea. Didn Kioti is all South Korea, so everything on there, engine, transmission, front axle. And then this Mahindra, you're going to notice something similar, is this is a India tractor. So it's got some similarities to the 5E Series John Deere in that aspect, that they both come from India. The engine, the transmission, the front axle, all that stuff. So anyways, guys, these are all utility frame tractors, cabs, options for higher horsepower, options to add on accessories, all that type of stuff. If you're in the haying type of use or any type of normal utility farm tasks, these are great, great tractors for anybody. Price-wise, if you want to know the price on all 3 of these, let me know. I can let you know in the comments, or email me is the best way, info@orchardhillsales.com. We're located in Belchertown, Massachusetts, right off Route 9. If we can help you out, let us know. This John Deere may be heading out sooner or later. After, people are going to start to look at this, and possibly it may be heading off the lot. Somebody may purchase it, and I can't get another one, of course, right away. It's got to be traded in or something. the 6065 or the RX6620, I can get at pretty much any point in time. So if I can help you out on anything here, guys, give us a call, 413-253-5456. I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know any other differences that I didn't mention in the video in the comments if you want, guys. Thank you, and have a great day.